We're live. I'm Aslan Hajavani, joined by Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. You also know it as warchant.com. Plenty of recruiting news to talk about. We're taking your phone calls as well. But first, before we begin, first off, hello, Michael. If you're not a member of the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source, if you don't go on that premium recruiting board and see all the hard work that Michael puts in and day out, well, you're missing out on a whole bunch of things. But it's going to be okay, because if you sign up now, you'll be getting the best deal of the year, bar none. Use the promo code Norvell2020 and you get 25% off an annual membership and a $25 gift card to Garnet and Gold. And Gene Williams, aka.com, was like, give them 3 free months on top of that, Aslan. So you get all that. Use the promo code Norvell2020, 25% off an annual membership, $25 e-card to Garnet and Gold. So if you don't live in Tallahassee, it's okay. You can use it online, get a $25 discount and 3 free months. So what are they waiting for, Michael? Jeez, right?
Yeah, jump on it.
Yeah. Also, one of these recruits, one of these 5-stars, is going to start jumping on it, man. I guess we gotta walk before we can run. But today was a pretty good sign of things to come, though, right? Some important people on campus for Florida State from a recruiting perspective.
Yes, I had several visitors from the Panhandle area. We covered this on the message board, but offensive lineman Kimo Makanole was there today. He's an FSU committed last week, and several other guys were there. His teammate, offensive lineman 2022 prospect Austin Firestone, was there as well, along with his teammate 2022 4-star defensive back Azare Thomas, who was on campus as well to take in a visit. And then as well, Booker T. Washington, Pensacola, Florida, Booker T. Washington, the Wildcats. Eric Smith was there, Eric Smith Jr. So he's a guy they're kind of keeping an eye on. I think they want to see him play before they really, decide what level they're going to push for. But certainly a lot of guys on campus. I think with Eric Smith, I kind of addressed it previously, that really just going to depend on when FSU, if you're assuming there's a season that FSU can go there, watch the kid play, see what he looks like. Obviously, he's 6'5", 180. So usually when that happens, schools want to see how big they are, if their size is legit. It says 200, I'd say probably 185 around there. But 6'5"'s got great size, offers a lot there. He's got some nice early offers already. You mentioned Louisville, FIU, Memphis, or some of the I think Michigan's another team that he mentioned some with. So I think FSU just wants to see what he's going to look like. Tape, you see his hands, you see his length and everything when you watch the tape, but I think FSU wants to see him in person and then probably decide which way, how hard they're going to push. Now, Azare Thomas, visited today. I think his favorite team growing up was FSU. I think FSU's already offered there, so that's not the concern there. I think it's mainly them and Georgia Tech. I think FSU certainly is very high on his list. I think it really comes down to comfort. And then having Kimo already on board certainly helps the cause, because him and Kimo are pretty close friends. So I think those are some of the main ones. I cover all this in the breakdown on the message boards earlier today as far as the prospects. Got some quotes from every single guy as far as what they thought of the trip. Even though they're doing everything on their own, they still got to see some good stuff on campus. The most intriguing one was Austin Firestone to me. Aslan, this kid got a 31 on the ACT as a freshman.
What?
Passed math calculus when he was in the 9th grade, and then when he's, he did that when he was 8th grade. And in his 9th grade year, he took college calculus, like the college course of calculus, as far as and passed that as well. So this kid is extremely intelligent, a very smart kid. Got a chance to sit down and chat with him a little bit today. This kid was very intriguing. Wants to major in international business. So it's a fun day. A lot of stuff going on as far as visits.
All right, man. Well, plenty of that over on warchant.com, the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. Let's take a phone call. Welcome on into the warchant.com recruiting call-in show with Michael Langston. Who's this?
Hello, Aslan. Hello, Michael. It's Gator Kirk. How are you guys doing this evening?
Right on cue.
What's up, G? What's going on, man?
Just living the dream as always.
We hear you, man. Just trying one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. What's going on? You got a question for Mike?
Sure. I'd go back to a star question.
Okay.
So what criteria is used to determine the number of stars that a player gets? And you can pick the position like a quarterback. So what's the difference between like a 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star quarterback?
Well, I mean, I'll do my best to cash in on that. It's mainly a question that maybe the Rivals analysts can probably answer better than me, but I've done rankings before when I was at Florida varsity, so I know my criteria. Really, you combine a combination of what you see on film and how that projects to colleges, and how that projects as far as quarterback. You're looking for how they process information, mechanics, all that stuff. Just their understanding of the quarterback position, their comfort level in the pocket, their obviously velocity, arm talent. Those things are all tied in. But for me, I look at, when I evaluate guys, I look at obviously I like to go see them play as much as I can. So the live evaluations is where you see the most as far as the quarterback position or any position really. So you're looking for live evaluations, but you also see if that meshes with the film, because sometimes the film doesn't tell you everything as far as what you see in a prospect. Sometimes I've seen prospects that are better in person, and I've seen prospects that are not quite as sharp as I thought they would be as far as when I see them in person. So I think it really just comes down to a combination of both of those things of inline evaluation, but it also comes down to, when you talk about stars, is what level can this guy project to? Is he a mid-level D1 guy, or is he a high level? That's the difference between a 4-star or a high 4-star and a 3-star. Now, with other positions, I've seen defensive ends or even linebackers or just other positions, there's not much difference between a high 3-star and a low 4-star. I think they're pretty similar as far as evaluations, that maybe they project a little bit better in certain areas that you could, say that's why they're a 4-star. But I think it's kind of a combination of all those things I just listed as far as what you look for in a quarterback.
Anything else for him, G?
Yeah. Well, one, before I forget, got to sign up for War Chant, because that's a better deal than I got. Exact speeds. Wow, can't even say that. There's only one near me. And hit that thumbs up. Also, Justin Osborne, the offensive tackle from Austin, would he be a good fit for us? I mean, everyone goes crazy when an OT goes up there, but that doesn't mean they're a good fit.
Yeah, I think they're you see posts all the time. Certainly, he's a guy who's going to be there familiar with Justin. Obviously, Chris Thompson recruited him. Ira put a post about this on our Cream recruiting board. So shout out to Ira. He gets a lot of the credit for that. There's a lot of connections with Dillingham and Norvell. It really just comes down to perception, of what they want. If this guy can fit what they want. And the other thing is, you got to juggle the scholarships around, because there's not very many scholarships that I think they have available. So you're going to have to juggle that. He's a freshman. So certainly the dynamics of if they decide to offer, you can work out, the scholarship stuff. But I watched this film, and I think he's certainly a guy that can help you in your depth chart. I mean, certainly, I don't know where he would rank as far as on the depth chart, but I think depth-wise, he would certainly help you at that offensive line position. But ultimately, it just comes down to perception of the team, because I always say this in recruiting: it only takes one coach, one coach to like you, and you don't need 20 offers. You just need one offer, and the one offer that you want, and it fits you perfectly. So I think it's just up to the perception of them. Now, for my opinion, I think he's a good depth guy that would help your depth chart. He isn't just a body. I think he will help you. He can contribute and certainly help this team. But ultimately, it comes down to, can we fit this guy in with our scholarship numbers? And is he a guy that Alex Atkins feels fits what they want to do? So ultimately, it comes down to that.
We good, G?
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you all do. Looking forward for Friday to see what happens with practice. And as always, go Noles.
That's right.
Thanks again for everything you do, and good night. Y'all have fun.
You're the man, G. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you all. Good night.
Hey, man.
Good dude, man.
Always the first. Always the first. That just cracks me up every week.
Well,
Like that can't be easy being the first guy like every week. Like that's impressive.
Last night we had some issues. We couldn't get him on first, but you can see the calls that come in, or like the people that are actually trying to call in. He was the first person trying to call in, but for whatever reason, like it wouldn't come through, and then somebody else, snuck in there and got our guy. But what are you gonna do?
See what I'm telling? See, that's what I'm talking about.
He starts it, man. He's the wick. He starts this whole firestorm. Amazing. Welcome on into the warchant.com recruiting chat with Michael Langston. Who's this?
Ranye.
Oh, Gwinnett in the house. What up, Ranye?
Gwinnett in the house. What's going on?
Shoot, man. It's another day in paradise, man.
Hey, Michael, I got a couple questions for you. I know it's down the road. It's 24. I'm excited because two kids that I know personally got offers from Florida State. Walt Sinclair, he's a center at Grayson High School.
Right.
We talked about it the other day. He's a center, probably one of the top centers in the nation right now. Goes to Grayson High School. And then KJ Bolden, a receiver at Buford. Very good kids, man. This is the second offer for Walt. His first offer was Kentucky in 8th grade. So we're his second offer. What do you think about that projecting? I know it's, a couple years down the road, but just excited kids that I know to train with, that I know personally, to see them get that offer. Yeah,
I mean, it's always big, to get, the offers as early as you can, as long as once you get sold on these kids. I think with Walt Claire, I like what he does in pass protection. That really jumped out to me. Obviously, he's got a lot of growing to do because his body's going to grow in a lot of ways. His height, his width, and certainly his athletic ability and quickness and speed and all those things will mature as he goes along. But that's the thing that stands out when I watch him. I watched his film right after I saw they offered him, and that was the thing that jumped out to me. I think he's a very athletic, certainly offensive tackle, which is not really surprising when you watch. Most young kids are quite athletic at that age, but I think that really stands out to me. And then the vision when I watch KJ after he gets his hands on the ball, he has a knack for seeing things happen before they happen. I think both of those guys are big offers, and I think both of them have a really good relationship early on with Alex Atkins. I think that's a big key when you're going to the state of Georgia, or you're these areas that are outside of your state. You have to have some kind of connection there to get your foot in the door, and I think they certainly have that with Atkins, and certainly a long ways to go with those guys as far as getting them on campus, visiting different schools. But I think to get those kids, you have to have that early connection, and I think FSU's done that with those kids.
So do you think Walt's going to project out as a tackle instead of a center?
I think he could play. I think it really depends on his growth. Obviously, if he's not above 6'4", it's hard to see too many guys play tackle. But I think if he grows with his height, which I think he will, I think most guys grow. I think most kids get growth spurts around their junior or sophomore year. So I think he'll probably. It depends on his growth as far as what he does. But I think when you watch his athletic, his mobility, his flexibility, I could see him playing, ending up playing a tackle, even though he plays center right now, which is a perfect position for him because he, with his size, it just fits him perfectly right now. But I think he could grow into a tackle because he's athletic enough to handle it.
Okay. Well, last thing, KJ Mama tweeted a picture of him when he was younger at a Florida State camp. So I'm excited about it. That's a good thing. So the nose did right with that offer. So he said that was a dream school. I know we hear that a lot, but he was at a camp when he was younger and tweeted that picture out after he got that offer. So I think that meant a lot to him.
Yeah, and it's always big to kids remember stuff like that when you're at camp, and we go through so many kids that are at camp, and but kids remember those moments of something that just clicked when they were on the university, regardless of what staff members there. I think that means a lot to them, and I think it says a lot about FSU's ability, how those two kids project. The fact that they offered them that early, that says a lot about how they feel they're going to project to college and playing for a place like FSU.
I agree. Well, definitely thank y'all for everything you do. Like I said, I'm excited about it and definitely will be followed. And thank y'all for the recruiting nuggets, Michael, and go Noles.
That's right. That's right. Thanks, Ronye. Appreciate the call, man. Struggling trying to find video. Rivals profiles of these guys, couldn't find anything.
Hard to find some on a 2024, Aslan. I mean,
one of these kids is 2024.
Both of them were. Both of them were.
All right, I was running ragged here. I'm like, I'm going to get fired.
Yeah. What you have to do is you have to go to the War Chant front page, hit the recruiting search, and you have to physically type in their name, and then they'll probably come up then.
I got you. I
gave everyone the secret now. Now everyone knows how to look up a prospect. But with the younger kids, like 23 and 24, usually that's kind of the way you have to do it to find them.
Well, let's take some questions from the good folks on YouTube as well as those watching us on Facebook. But we'll have a phone call first. Look at that. Look at that. Way to sneak right in there. Welcome on into the warchant.com recruiting call-in show with Michael Langston. Who's this?
Hey, it's Spence. How are y'all doing this week?
Good, Spence. How are you?
Good. Pretty good.
I'm doing all right. I just moved into my new place in the Florida Keys.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go.
Get up, Spence. I've lived in Florida my whole life. I've never been down to the Keys.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I've been up in Cali my whole life. I just got the opportunity to move down here for work, and I got to tell you, I love it so far. I'll have you over for a beer when everything opens back up.
There you go.
All right, I appreciate that. I'll hold you to it, everybody. Everybody here's my witness. Y'all are my witnesses.
we need to make a spring tour there.
Yeah,
in the Keys.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been seeing some rumblings on a couple other recruiting sites that Chambray Jackson, our big old defensive end out of Boone High School, he's got some projections to come to Florida State. Are you hearing some rumblings that there might be something coming up soon, or do you think those are just, he'll end up here eventually like with Kazan?
Well, I can't really speak for what somebody else does for another media outlet. I would just say I project him a long time ago. I just thought that whenever he makes a decision that it was going to be FSU, whether that's tomorrow or that's right before the season. I always felt like, and I've said this many times, that this recruiting season, the pandemic speeds up everything. So I definitely think he's definitely a candidate to fall into that. We kind of saw that with several guys that have jumped on board with FSU. I have heard that he would like to get it done before his season starts. So it would not surprise me in the next few weeks if he went ahead and did it. I think FSU sits in a solid spot, which I've said for a while. But I think if I had to guess, those picks are mainly just most people know that FSU sits in a really solid spot, and I think it's kind of just getting ahead of the curve. Now, some of them might be where they're hearing that he might decide soon, which is quite possible. And like I said, I hear that he wants to do it before his season starts. And if you're going to do that, then that's going to be in the next few weeks or so. But it would not surprise me if he went ahead and jumped on board. But I feel pretty good about where FSU stands there, and we'll see if that happens. But I do think, in my opinion, that he'll probably do it before the season starts.
Gotcha. I definitely think that'll hopefully spark a little bit of recruiting momentum on the trail, maybe get some guys that were thinking about it, jump on board, but it never hurts to have a big old Florida defensive end come on and really start to round out this class as we head into the season. So Thank y'all very much for answering questions, everything. Appreciate y'all so much every single week, and go Noles.
Thanks, Spence. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and Spence it's a good point about, I said this on the message board a few times earlier this week, is they could really use a jolt in their recruiting momentum. If you get a guy like Destin Payson or Chambray Jackson to jump on board, that's really going to ignite your excitement. They need something to ignite them, because it's been kind of a grind as far as the up and down roller coasters of the season. To get somebody, and then it's kind of a lull for a while where you don't hear one. So getting a 4-star prospect that's highly regarded like these two are, I think that will be a big deal as far as helping their recruiting momentum and excitement.
Speaking of momentum, Michael.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, Giovanni.
Let's go, Giovanni. Welcome to the show, kid. One more. Let's go. $20 American on the board. Giovanni asked a question earlier. I was trying to get to it, but we had a phone call. I'll see if I can scroll up and find it. Hate to beat a dead horse, but who's the first defensive tackle that we are signing?
That's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you. As I done video when we broke down the defensive tackles, and as I told Aslan, it is a little bit concerned for me as far as that. That's the one position that's concerned. Actually, even more than offensive line, which is people are psycho about that. But just the Marquise Robinson one really hurt just because they had such a good relationship there, and obviously he picked Auburn. So I'm a little bit concerned about that position. I can't really tell you who would be the first. If I had to pick, I'd say Christopher Thomas is one that's originally from Tallahassee. He's committed to Florida right now, so he's the one that I would watch. But there's no real guy that I can say for sure that they would get right now, or be able to get a commitment from. But it certainly they need something from the defensive tackle position to get things going. And I would also add, if Chambray Jackson does commit, Chambray could grow into that defensive tackle position. I think he's already up to 260. So he's a guy that could play defensive tackle. So he could end up being your next one. And for that question, he could be that guy because he certainly can grow into that. But yeah, they need somebody on the defensive tackle position, because you're talking about getting to that three guys mark, because you're losing several guys. So you need to get at least, I think, 3 defensive tackles in this class, and certainly they need one just to kind of get the juices flowing and the momentum going for that position. I know they're working hard out there, Trail. There's several guys that I probably don't even know about yet. I'm working hard on that to find some new names for you guys that I haven't covered in the hot board. But it's certainly a position that they definitely need to get somebody on board to help with some momentum.
Gotcha. All right. In the words of my man John Beam, one clap on me. Ready? Let's go. That was a bad clap. Trevante Goodman, though, that's a good clap. $5. Let's go, Trevante. Appreciate you, man. Have you been watching Last Chance U, Michael?
I have not.
The guy's my dude, man. I like him. I'm only like 4 episodes in. No spoilers. No spoilers, anybody. I don't binge everything. I spread it out. I've got discipline. But the coach is great, man. And everything, he's like, all right. He's like, 2 claps on me. Ready? It's great. Fantastic. I hope Norvell's doing that sort of stuff.
By the way, I want to give some love to the guy that posted on YouTube. He thanked me for my background. He loved my background while I was answering a question. I didn't forget about you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Old Ray. Friend
Ray, appreciate it, Ray. Thank you very much. Diane's, my wife gets all the credit for that. I didn't. She put that all together, but it definitely does look nice. I appreciate it.
Let's see here. Shane Gibbs asking what we looking like for Brandon Cleveland.
Yeah, Brandon Cleveland's a 2022 defensive tackle from Sefner, Florida. I think it's going to come down to FSU and Miami. The Canes have been hot, so it kind of makes me hesitant as far as go ahead and picking FSU. So I think that's one where Brandon visited FSU last. He was really highly impressed by FSU. Haven't heard much since then. I have not heard a final, which way this thing could go. I just know that FSU got the last visit, but I also caution people that Miami's been pretty hot lately. So you never know. It could go either way, but that's what I have right now is that I know he really likes Coach Fuller. He really likes Coach Odell Haggins and certainly several members of that new staff. I think he really bonded and connected with them. So that's kind of a wait and see thing. I don't have a pick for that. I'm hoping to get one the next few days since he's going to commit on Friday. So I'm hoping to have more on that either tonight or first thing in the morning, to have some sort of pick one way or the other. But don't have a final call on that one yet. But I think it's a close battle with them in Miami.
Good looking prospect, seems like. Yeah, someone was asking the question too, and it's like what is Miami doing, man? Like Manny Diaz got like the Jimmy Johnson playbook or something, and he's got Uncle Luke in him. I mean, Uncle Luke telling everybody not to come to Florida State because they did Taggart wrong or whatever. And what's going on about it?
Well, I mean, there's several things. I think the addition of Ed Reed as chief of staff was a big deal. Anytime you have a Hall of Famer that's around recruits all the time, especially South Florida kids, that's going to have a strong effect. They changed a lot of some of their staff up, new offensive coordinator. I think they had some other position coaches that they've done as far as they've done that. And some of their support staff, I mentioned this guy, Stephen Fields. I know him really well. He does a really good job behind the scenes. So I think they've added some different pieces that have built excitement as far as keeping kids home. And I think the most important thing is the pandemic has really pushed a lot of those kids to stay home and stay close to home. I think that help we've seen how it's hurt Florida State and other teams, but I think it's really benefited Miami as far as that goes. And two, they're a year ahead of FSU as far as showing progress on the field. I know they were 6-7, but what they pointed out in that season was it pointed out what their weaknesses are. And I think they've kind of addressed that and addressed that with the recruits. Say, hey, you're the piece in this position. You'll come in here, and then sometimes when you get momentum going, because it's not a coincidence that this really big flow for Miami started right when the pandemic hit. So I think it was a pandemic was a big deal, but I think it was also, showing what they're missing last year. I think really helped them. We've seen that with North Carolina. I think we've seen that with Tennessee in recruiting as well. So I think Miami's kind of benefited from that. And like I said, having Ed Reed in your locker room and your football facility is a big deal.
Yeah, I know he's a Cane, but like if there's anybody you could take away from like Florida and Miami, like you gave me like their entire rosters all time, like I'm taking Ed Reed.
Yeah,
I'm taking Ed Reed. Reed's just the dude.
Yeah,
so I will say that. Well, speaking of keeping it local, though, Jeremy Wells asked, "Hey, Michael, I noticed that FSU has not spoken to Amari Harvey in about a month. Why do you think that is? Is there someone else on the board they like?" And then he's got a second part talking about that Jalen Wiley.
Yeah, I did a big feature on Amari Harvey earlier this week. Hopefully you checked it out, Jeremy. Talked about how FSU hadn't talked to him in a month. I did some digging on that. I'm glad you brought it up because I had a few additional things. The thing I got was I think FSU they liked him, but not to the level of the way they liked Terrion Arnold. But they also felt like they were kind of being slow played by Amari, where he was kind of showing interest, but he wasn't a guy like they felt like, hey, he wants to come here. Like almost like Texas A&M and Auburn are the two teams that we hear the most. So it was almost like he was waiting for bigger things to happen. And FSU, I got the sense inside of a couple of sources I've talked to inside FSU that told me they felt like they were being slow played there, and or not a guy that was dead serious or really serious about FSU. So I think that's what happened to some of the contact. And like I said, he's a guy they like. But one of our posters that kind of mentioned this, I'll give a shout out to Horace on our board. He mentioned like Hunter Washington and Amari have kind of similar skill sets when you watch what they can do. Hunter's already committed, so why would you take two guys that kind of do some of the same things? So I think those are the combination of things when you add all that stuff together. But based on what I got as far as doing a little more digging, I think FSU felt like they were being slow played by Amari, where he wasn't as high on them as it appeared to be and appeared to come across. So I think FSU's like, well, we're not going to waste our time if you're not serious about us. So I think they kind of just cooled on them. And I think with the other defensive backs, I think a lot of their main focus is going to be on Terrion Arnold. I mentioned this several times, the Amari Harvey thing. I think Arnold's been the guy that they've been locked into. They haven't hesitated on that. He's the guy they want. And two, it's like my other guess, and this is not based on intel, they might already have somebody that they have lined up that is a defensive back that maybe have given them a pledge already, or they feel good about, but they're just kind of keeping it quiet. And then if they get that guy, there's not much pressure on them to get Terrion. So if they get Terrion, great, that's a bonus. If they don't, they have this guy. So I think that could be happening as well. So that's something I'm gonna look into. But I wanted to kind of give a follow up on Amari, kind of what my FSU contacts and sources are hearing within his recruitment.
Well, about Patrick Hagan's, appreciate the tip in the jar, bud. Thank you very much, man. Also, I'm not the GOAT, man. I'm just a decent guy. How do we look for Terrion Arnold? Brandon Gibson coming in here spitting venom, throwing salt. Terrion's going to pick Auburn, he says. What's it look like for Terrion there, Michael?
I think it's still very wide open for Terrion. Auburn would probably be the last team I think he would pick, to be honest. I think Tennessee is high up there. I think Georgia's going to make a major push with them losing James Williams and not getting him. I think that's going to force them to make big. And then certainly Alabama. Alabama's been the team that I hear the most. I think hear more about Alabama and FSU than I do anybody else. So I would say Alabama and FSU are the teams that I hear most around that recruit. But this one, guys, this one's going to go all the way to the finish line. I don't think he's in a hurry. He really wants to take official visits. FSU has not let up on this one. They the moment Norvell got the job, this was one of the first defensive backs he called, and they want this guy badly. They're recruiting him extremely hard, but hit the pause button, guys, because this one's going to take a while. Yeah. He's going to want to take official visits. He's going to want to get to campuses, and then if something happens where that can't happen with visits, he could decide late in the fall, maybe November, December. But as of right now, I think this one's going to go for a little while. And like I said, this is certainly the top guy I think on their board that they want as far as Terrion Arnold. And in the basketball program's done a really good job as well as helping that recruitment, because he's also a basketball prospect as well. So I think FSU has been on him the longest with the basketball part of the game. So still pretty wide open. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite, but I hear more about FSU Alabama than I do anybody else.
All right, and that was the second part of the previous question. Jeremy Wells, are we saying pretty for Jalen Wiley? We'll know Sunday.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I forgot about that. Justin or Jalen Wiley, people don't know who that is. He's a top 25 point guard, combo guard actually, to be technically straight, but he is the final piece to putting together this epic class. And I think he's going to say FSU when he makes a decision on Sunday. I think FSU is going to be the choice. Everything I hear points to FSU. I feel pretty confident on that FSU is going to get another big one. Number 21 rated prospect in the country. Number 4, his position. This is a guy that FSU's. I've heard that FSU's really pushed for him for a while, and I think too what helps them is the additions they had previously for him. John Butler, Matthew Cleveland. Those guys help complement Jalen's game. Jalen can do penetrate and dish it out. Shirley can shoot it from the outside and knows how to finish at the rim. So I think everything right now, I think FSU's sitting in a good spot with his decision coming on Sunday at 1:00. Certainly I'll be monitoring that heavily, but I think they're likely to get good news as long as nothing drastic changes.
Oh, look at Trevante back in the mix, throwing another $5 at us. Appreciate you, Trevante. Good looking out, $10. You're going to move on the board, man. I'm going to have a board behind me one of these days, or maybe I'll have it in a graphic on the screen or whatever. But Michael, where does this current basketball recruiting class rank amongst all the good ham classes?
If they get Jalen Wiley, this is the best class they've ever had. Slam dunk, in my opinion, it's going to be the best class. Like the class with Dwayne Bacon and Terrence Mann and Malik Beasley, that was a really solid class. But top to bottom, when you go through everything they have in this class, Naheem McLeod at the center position, John Butler at the stretch 4 position, Matthew Cleveland, who's a big shooting guard that can play the 2 and the 3. And if you get Worley, you get one of the best point guards in the country. And just to add that along, you get one of the best shooters out there in Bryce McGowens. So this will be the best class that not just Ham's had, but just FSU in general, in my knowledge, has ever had in their program. If they can pull off the feet and landing Worley and who knows what else if they want to add to that. I think they're probably done there after that, but I never say never when it comes to Leonard Hamilton, because he's just sometimes it's totally impossible to keep track of if he could pull somebody out of left field that you don't know about. So, but my suspicion is, Worley would be the final piece for them.
All right, right on. Let's see here. We get that question every single day. Let's take something different here. Timothy Scala asking from Facebook. Recently, we've had a presence in Miami, St. Thomas Aquinas, and also IMG. Has Norvell managed to keep those connections for recruits?
Yeah, they've done that with a lot of those schools. I mean, they did several even meet and greets when they got the job. I think even in those areas you talk about, and they did Palm Beach, they did I think they did one near St. Thomas, and I think they did one as well in Central Florida. So yes, they have. That's a big part of once they got the job, they made sure they were calling high school coaches, making sure they're building contacts and relationships there, and they've done a really good job with that. I actually thought that meet and greet was a phenomenal idea that Norvell and them came up with. It's basically a meet and greet of high school coaches that can come meet them, talk, chat it up, and I think that's going to get more popular every year they do it. Obviously, he's a coach from Memphis, so they're just now getting to know him, but the more they see their program, the more they are getting to know these coaches and seeing what they're like on and off the field. I think the more presence you'll get from high school coaches, to build those contacts. But it's a very good idea to kind of get things cranked up, and that's why I say this season is so important just to play. Even if you play 3 games or 4 games or 5 games, it's still vital for FSU to show the type of product they're going to put on the field and what key places they're missing as far as prospects.
How about this from Derek Adams? Do we have an update on RJ Harvey or the Auburn offensive tackle?
Yeah, we talked about the Auburn offensive tackle earlier, Justin Osborne. Still wait and see thing to see if FSU is going to push or if FSU has a scholarship even to offer that's available right now. But that's kind of a wait and see where I'm looking to see what the interest level is in FSU right now. I don't have anything to report on RJ Harvey. It's kind of the same problem where they don't technically have a scholarship available for running back. So Justin would probably have to come in, maybe do the gray shirt route, and then the next semester, when they know, obviously guys like Marvin Wilson and those guys are graduating or whoever is leaving early as far as turning pro, they might be able to rotate the scholarships from there. But really it's a scholarship thing with Robert, in my opinion, more than anything right now. And that's kind of a wait and see. I have not heard any movement there. Only thing I've heard is that it's still kind of in a standstill as far as what they can do. I do get the impression that FSU wants him and they would take him, but at the same time, scholarship problems, is going to maybe make that a hard thing to do as far as finalize. So once I get more on that, guys, I'll update it on the boards. But I haven't heard anything new there except for they're still trying to work that out.
All right, very well. Phone line still open, 850-792-5730. Well, welcome to the party, Evan Mccoo.
Oh, there it is.
Music, man. Play this music. Play the music. Evan, that's all you got for us, man? Like, you don't have a question? It's fine.
Yeah, Evan, give us a question, dude. If you're laying $15 down, I mean, I want a question. Give me a question. I don't care what it is. Anything.
Giovanni, in the meantime, asks, who are you most excited about from last class?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see. Last class.
DJ Lundy, man. Give me some DJ Lundy, man. I want to see DJ Lundy out there just like.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to pull up the commitment list because my mind's kind of blank right now. I'm so locked in on.
Want some Corey Wren in your life? Want some speed demon, Michael? You want some speed demon in you?
Yeah, Robert. I like him. I like him a lot too, but I had a few guys in mind. I think the guy that DJ Lundy is really high as far as the guy I'm most very intrigued to see. Another guy I'm excited about. I really want to see how this guy looks. Is Lawrence Toafili at running back? Like I've watched this kid. I've seen what he does. I think as far as skill set, he might be one of the most versatile guys that they have on their roster. And two other guys that I think I'm really high on. Linebacker Steven Dix, and certainly defensive back Damori Tate. Damori is a freak. Like he has got the length. He's got the speed. He's a really good Under Armour game performance, and I think those guys stand out a lot to me. And I'll throw some love for the punter, man. I want to see what he looks like.
That's Romano.
Like, I mean, I don't want to see him out there too much, but I would like to see, kind of what he looks like and see where he can go. But those kind of guys stand out to me. I know that's more defensive laden. I guess if I had to pick another offensive guy, I'm interested to see Chubba Purdy, man.
All right.
I want to see that one. I want to see what that looks like with Chubba Purdy. I've heard a lot of good things that people that scout the West Coast for me that I trust. They said this kid is a freak, man. Like he is a beast. So I'm looking forward. I'd say those guys kind of stand out to me. But there's a lot of great talent in there. But those are just a few that are on my mind that I'm most excited to see. But Chubba Purdy is probably one of the highest on my list. I want to see what that kid looks like when he plays against college solid D1 guys and what he looks like.
I just want to see him and Sam Howell just duking it out. We'll know 9 a.m., by the way, tomorrow, 9 a.m. on the ACC network. They'll actually unveil the dates of the schedule. So we already know who Florida State's playing and where. Now we'll know when. So that'll be tomorrow, 9 a.m. So we'll find that out. But, yeah, Sam Howell and Chubba, that might be a fun little duel in Doak. How about Brandon coming in late? When's or committing to FSU? Look at that, bold. Not even asking like where, but when is he committing to FSU?
That's what I was laughing at. I was like, wow, when's he committing to FSU? He announced Roger Cord over there from I think he's I don't know the city he's from. I think Gadsden City, Alabama. I want to say.
You're right.
But he announced the top 5. I want to say it's Missouri, FSU, Tennessee. I'm slipping my mind the rest of the other 2, but I think the main competition
was Oregon.
Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss was in there, but I think the main competition is Tennessee with him. I think Tennessee and Florida State. I think those are the 2 teams. I think it'll come down. The one consistent, if you can get excited about FSU fans, is the one consistent he does with every list is FSU. I thought it was FSU Mississippi State battle early on for a while. Now, you hear FSU and Tennessee, but the one consistent, like I said, is FSU. He wants to announce, wants to make a decision before the season starts, but he hasn't really given a date. So I don't have a date as far as when he would announce. Really good relationship already with Kelly Dillingham, and also a really good relationship with Alex Atkins. They've done a great job there as far as recruiting him. Obviously, it gets you a little nervous with Tennessee because that's the SEC program. You never know. Popular program. They've done well in recruiting. But that's kind of where I think that stands. I would be 50-50 on those 2 teams, although just the consistency as far as FSU being in it, I would say that that has to play into it. But I don't have a call either way. I haven't made a pick on that one, but I think it's FSU or Tennessee, and FSU has put in the time and the relationship there. So I think certainly he's going to be a big deal as far as whenever his decision comes down. Could come before the season. He could ultimately push it back and say, hey, I want to take some visits. So I think right now, currently, I think he would want to get it done before the season starts, and maybe sometime in August. So we'll see. I'm going to monitor that. I'm going to check on his status, see what some people are telling me as far as which way they think he's leaning. I'll check with a few people this weekend and maybe post something on the board if I hear something.
All right. Soybeans, Michael, any update on when Amarius Mims is going to take a visit? Seems like every other week there's a rumor that he'll visit that weekend.
Yeah, as I said last week, he's supposed to take a visit to FSU on his own. That's going to be in the next few weeks. It's supposed to be in the next few weeks. I can't say, it's going to be next week or the weekend after or whatnot. Yes, he is highly interested in FSU. I've not backed away from that, Aslan, from the start. It's like he has a great, really, really tight relationship with Kenny Dillingham. He's even mentioned to me how he's one of his favorite coaches. really likes Coach Atkins a lot, but I kind of pumped the brakes on that because George has always been a team that he's liked growing up, or he mentioned all the time. And every time there seems to be a team that jumps in there, the next week we hear, oh, George is back in the league, or something like that. He has the most impressive film out of any offensive tackle I've seen this year. Just kills people. And certainly there's a really good relationship. And, he also knows, I mean, this is no secret. I mean, I'm not telling anybody breaking news here, but he knows FSU needs tackles, and his chances of playing early at FSU, I would say, is extremely high because they don't have anything hardly at that position as far as depth-wise or especially anyone to his level. So certainly that's a enticing thing. It's always been an enticing thing with Amarius. And I said this last week. I think it's really good news that he pushed his commitment back to October, because that tells me he really wants to see Florida State. He really wants to see, maybe another school or a few other schools, but I think that's more dictated about FSU, that he really wants to see FSU. And I think he is serious about them, but you got to be real too. I don't want to get people excited and then pull the rug from underneath your feet when if he ends up at Georgia. So I still think he'd go to Georgia, but definitely there's a shot there, and the interest is very legit.
Let's see here. Soybeans had another question. What's the latest with Zion Reeves? Seeing some projections with NC State starting to come in. Oh, gosh, can we just take another seconds to admire Amarius Mims' tape? Good grief.
I can watch that all day. Yeah, I mean, Zion's been a guy that, Coach JP's been on for a while, but I would say this too. I said this on the board, that NC State has been the school that's on him the longest. They actually have a few kids already either committed to NC State that are from his school at East Forsyth. And so there's a comfort level that he has with NC State that's longer than anybody else. Yeah. And I said this in my hot board, which we're going to, that'll release in a few days as far as defensive end. Everything I've heard is that if I was making a pick today, it would be NC State. So, just listed kind of the reasons, but they're on several guys at the defensive end position. Good news for FSU. They already have two, probably only going to take, one more or maybe two more at the most. So I think they're in a good spot with the defensive end position. But yeah, I would say if Reeves was going to pick somewhere or commit somewhere, it would be NC State.
Like Quentin Copels 2.0, man, 6'7". Good grief. Look at his hand.
Yeah.
Man, look at the way he came off the edge. I mean, we're getting 3 stars. Can we get this one? Like, he looks good. He's 6'7". He's an edge rusher. Let's get this guy. I mean,
well, it's just funny. It's funny how fans want 3 stars until they actually commit, and then they don't want the 3 stars. He's just a 3-star. But it's funny when they're out there, fans want it. But I get it. But they're all involved with several guys. We'll cover that in the hot board. That mentioned Chambray Jackson, Landon Watson. There's several other guys that I'm forgetting, but like I said, they already have 2, so you're in a good spot with that defensive end position. I don't think they're in dire straits there. I think they've gotten some good guys and good talent there, but he's just one where you have. That's why I try to tell people about how long somebody's recruited them or the connection,
right?
The connections with the school that school has. I mean, when you have 2 other kids that you're friends and you're close with, the comfort level is certainly going to be a big deal. So I think that kind of plays into Reeves. He has not indicated a date for an announcement, but like I said, if I was making a pick, I would go with. Oh my God, I can't even finish my sentence.
The real guy, is it?
That's the real McCoy.
Is it? All right.
That's my guy, Josh. But I just think that one's going to go probably for NC State. If he was going to pick, if you see him saying, "I got an announcement date like in a few weeks," then it's probably NC State. But Joshua Burrell, giving a shout out on our chat. That's pretty cool.
I'm about to say, man. I was going to say maybe we get some scouting insight into the alleged Joshua Burrell. What do you think about this guy? Oh, that's coming out of the cuts. That's good footwork. How about
Yeah.
we got some soft hands. That's good. We like
Yeah,
that.
and if people haven't seen, I put this post on War Chant. Josh did a phenomenal job of showing his official offer from FSU. Man, the presentation, Aslan, is I mean, you can really appreciate this as a video guy. It is off the charts. Like it is very impressive. I got that post on War Chant for everyone to see. It's a very impressive. He opened up, showed all the things that were in his official offer, and certainly there's not many guys that have recruited as hard as Joshua Burrell has for this class. He is definitely one of the high fan favorites, especially on War Chant. He's a guy that everyone loves, and certainly Kenny Dillingham loves this edition. So does Ron Dugan. I don't know if Kenny Dillingham loves them as far as when he plays Madden against them, because Josh wipes the floor with them. But I know they're excited about having Joshua Burrell in this class.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to pull it up here. I think I finally did. You talking about this? This is what we're talking about here?
No, it's below that one.
Oh, well, I tried. I can't.
If you go below it,
I picked that particular one. I'm not on his actual.
Okay.
That takes it long. God bless him.
It's not there. It's right there. There it is, right there. That one right there.
Let's see everybody.
This is awesome, guys.
It was good, no nation.
I'm just going to be quiet and let Josh talk.
Trying to get this thing all fully blown up and everything. Bear with me, everybody. I know what I'm doing sometimes. Not bad. That was pretty sharp.
Yep. Yeah. Very, shout out to K-Camp and all the guys in the FSU graphics that do a phenomenal job. I mean, they have taken this to a whole nother level as far as the graphics. Norvell not only added some really good coaches, he added some really good graphic team, and they do a phenomenal job.
Fantastic. I heard a rumor of something here. I'm trying to confirm something here. I'm getting these text messages telling me something's going on here, and I can't find it. It's supposed to be pretty cool. If I can find it, I will pull it up. I promise you. Otherwise, phone line still open, 850-792-5730. How about FSU rules prediction on Dante Thornton? I haven't heard this name before. Were you holding out on me, Michael?
No, he's a guy that I mentioned, but a lot of people thought that he was going to commit in August. Looks like he's going to do it in like January. He's a guy that Kenny Dillingham has been very aggressive on. I think he's probably going to Oregon if I had to make a pick today. But he's a guy that really wants to see FSU. He told me a few days ago that FSU is one of the few schools that he hasn't seen that he's really interested in checking out. But like I said, if I had to pick, I would pick Oregon. But the fact that he doesn't want to announce his commitment till then, it tells me kind of the same thing kind of with Amarius Mims, where he really wants to see FSU. I think he really wants to see also, if he can come for a game type atmosphere or what the offense looks like in person. I think he definitely is certainly he's interested. I didn't include him in the hot board because I thought he was going to probably commit early, but he will be in my next hot board for those wondering. And but if I had to pick, I would say Oregon, but he's definitely highly interested in FSU.
Michael, I don't know what's going on.
I knew it was something big.
It's getting crazy out there. What is going on? What's going on? Madness. It's absolute pandemonium. What's going on? What is going on? Dude, what just happened? $100 from Ray Pereira. Ray, let's go.
He should get some more shout outs. Horns. Fire the horn up again.
That's like a 21 gun salute, man. He's got to keep. I'm just gonna just get this thing on replay. Just keep it rolling. My goodness, Ray. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Ray, I wish I had a really big time answer for you for all that dough you threw. I mentioned Christopher Thomas as one. I think there's several guys that have their eye on at the defensive line position. I'll just put it that way. I think there's several offensive linemen they're still working on that they're committed elsewhere. I can't say that it would be who's going to be their biggest flip for sure, because you have to get these kids on campus and then they have to see FSU play as far as a product on the field. But there's definitely guys that they are talking to. I just haven't mentioned this that much until the season goes on, and then I'll start talking more frequently about it. But there's definitely guys that they're after. I know with Christopher Thomas, he's a guy that is a Italian native, so he's a guy certainly to watch. But there's certainly others. And your question, it'll be more in depth from me once the season starts, where these guys, once they visit FSU, then I'll talk more. I'll talk about that as far as possible flips.
This is what happens when you spend $100. I just go and make you a sign.
Yeah,
paper
man.
$1 Sharpie.
Ray, we appreciate it.
What is your platform? What do you need? You need
Ask me another question, Ray, because I feel like I'm not giving you enough. It's like I tried to give you what I have there, a little, even stuff that I kept quiet as far as them working on the other guys. But give me another one, Ray. If you want to throw a question, you just threw $100 down. Then I'll definitely answer it. And heck, you can throw 2 questions in there. I'm good with that.
Man, I don't even what. Geez, my good grief, man. Good Lord. Sean Monroe is asking the question, how well, Ray, you're the man. I mean, just can I do it one more time? Is that okay? Can I have permission? Mike, can I hit
Sure, fire away.
Sean Monroe asks, how well are we with I'm not even gonna say it. I mean, my name's Aslan, so I mean I'm not poking fun. I can't say it.
It's very simple. It's how it looks. It's Azare Thomas.
Azare.
Yeah, Azare. I put an update on the site today. There's a story on the front page already about Azare. Grew up a Florida State fan. I would be more nervous about Georgia Tech because his brother's there. That Georgia Tech probably concerns me more than South Carolina, just because there's connections there. But I think FSU is got a great shot. I've talked to a few nice little sources that tell me he is very high on FSU, but not in a hurry to make a decision. So I think FSU's already doing all the right things. Great relationship with Marcus Woodson. That is as big as far as a connection there. And he's very close with Kimo Makanole, who's already committed to FSU. So I think FSU is positioning where they need to be. He didn't name a leader, hasn't named a favorite, but I would say those 3 teams, South Carolina, FSU, and Georgia Tech, are the main focus. But Georgia Tech more of a concern to me, at least right now, than South Carolina. All
right, very well. Somebody asked this earlier. I can't find it right now. Okay. But I guess they're asking, like, who do you think is going to be the biggest sort of impact? I know it's more of a team thing, but who do you think is like the biggest impact transfer? I mean, that's some recruiting. The guys that have come in here new. I mean, people say Giovanni, I think, is talking about maybe Corbin. He likes Webb, White, Rector. I'm going to say Webb. I think that's Ira's guy right now. I went all in with Kalen Laburn, and he's off the team, so I had to
I'll give you 2 guys, in my opinion. Fabian Lovett, defensive tackle out of Mississippi, and then Jayshon Corbin. Now, Jayshon, I can speak because I've seen him several times in person. I've said this on this show that I think he's going to be the starting running back. Said that even when Corbin was there, and so I think those 2 guys are going to have big years. I think, and I know people will say, "Man, Mike, that's a stretch," because they got Corey Durden and Marvin Wilson and Robert Cooper. I just think this guy. I've heard a lot of positive things of what's going on as far as in the workouts. And everything and the impressions FSU staff has on this kid already. I think this guy's a watch. Watch out for Fabian Lovett. I think Jayshon Corbin's not really a surprise to people, just because I think people know what his skill set is. But I think Fabian Lovett pick would probably surprise some people, but those two jump out to me right away as far as the transfers. I think they're going to do very well.
All right. Sorry, I was hydrating. Yeah, ever since Coach Taggart told us to stay hydrated, I don't mess around with it any longer. How about Jerrion Jones, though, man? Like, they got Jerrion Jones and they got Mccoo Dotson. Mccoo Dotson had a share of the national lead in interceptions. I mean, those are two guys that we haven't even talked about that have transferred in. So,
yeah, Jerrion's very good, but they have so many guys in that secondary that we hear a lot of positive things about Travis Jay. We hear a lot of positive things about obviously Asante Samuel, who's going to be on one side. We don't know how much maturation there's been in his game with Keem Dent, and but I think Jerrion Jones is going to add a lot. I'd say with Lovett, I just feel I've heard a lot of positive things there. Aslan, I think's got some big news to share since he's jumping up and down.
I got a cowbell. I'm gonna start ringing a cowbell. What is going on? Who's James B? Give me $100. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Oh man.
I want to be in the pocket right now. I want to make some plays, Coach. Put me in. Let's go.
Oh man.
James,
you did it, James. You definitely did not let him outdo you. You beat him by $1. But that's big, guys. This is so huge. We really appreciate it, and I'm blown away. I don't even know what to say as far as that. As far as your question, who do you think the offense? Do you think the offensive line recruiting will be a priority number one for 20? Yes, I think it's going to be a priority every year until Norvell's the type of coach that he is not going to be happy until he fixes it. And I think they're going to go in the transfer market heavily again this year if they have to. Obviously, they're going to add some pieces. They already have 2 commitments. They would like to get, I think, 3 high school kids if they can, mostly tackles. Obviously, Amarius Mims will be top of the choice, and then Roger Core and several other guys. But yeah, they're not going to let up until they solve it. One thing I can tell you is they will fix the offensive line problems. They will fix it. They have a rock star, an offensive line coach, Alex Atkins, very popular. Is going to do a phenomenal job, and there's no doubt, in my opinion, they're going to fix it. It might not be as fast as people probably want it. Like this year, I think everyone wants 5 stars, and I've explained that situation that you have to go through the process. You have to let kids see what you are. Then you can really sell the product. But I think they're going to fix it. If I could say anything, James, that's going to make you feel better, I feel very confident they're going to fix it. And in 2022, that's going to be a big year. And I think you're going to see a difference of prospects if they land on the offensive line in 2022 compared to 2021. 2021 is more about getting guys that we know can help us and fit into the program. 2022 is getting the high-profile guys, because then you've already shown your product on the field. Now it's time to capitalize on that recruiting.
This is crazy. We're not stopping. This train stops for no one, Mike. Trey Goodman's throwing $10 at you. He's got a question as well, man. Miami rules the transfer market doesn't hurt their depth for the future. Doesn't take guys like King cause their high school talent to suffer. Seems like they won't have any quarterback depth after he leaves.
Yeah, there's not much depth, so they're probably going to have to get a quarterback from somewhere. I don't think it hurts your depth if they're only going to be there for a year. So I think that's kind of the way I look at that. Now, if you're taking a lot of transfers that are young kids that are sophomore and freshmen, that's a different story. But if you're taking grad transfers, I think with Javonte, I think the big deal is not taking too many young guys that are transfers. Now, that will hurt your depth just for the future, because then you're not able to take the top tier guys. But I think what Miami and FSU are both doing are really good. I mean, because remember, FSU had 9 transfers this year too, and they did a phenomenal job in the transfer market as well. So I think both of those teams want immediate help. I think both have done a great job. Certain places FSU is a little better, certain places Miami's better. But as far as their quarterback depth, yeah, they're gonna have to sign somebody, because, and I've said this before, if King gets hurt, they are in big, deep doo-doo as far as their team, because that is one guy they can't afford to lose. I know they signed Jared Williams transfer, but they got to keep that guy healthy too, because their offensive line is right there with FSU. Last year was very bad. It was very poor. So they're going to have to keep those guys healthy. And but I don't think it really affects their depth unless it's you see a lot of sophomore, freshman transfers.
One more. I mean, we got to get to Trevante. You get an air horn. You get an air horn. Not everybody gets an air horn. But Savage Knoll, he ain't even got anything to say. He's going to have to get an air horn as well. We appreciate it. My camera just went out, but I'm still here talking. There's something we're flooding. We're flooding the zone, if you will. We're flooding the zone with all these tips that everybody keeps giving us, Michael, that like the system literally can't even keep up. I just went away again, but I'm back.
There you go.
So Savage, Daniel Gibbs, I think, also has donated money. His question is, and we need to wrap it up, but I mean, people are throwing money at us. What are we going to do? I'm reading it here on the screen. I'll do this. I'm going to try to do this, and this shouldn't give away any of our trade secrets or anything like that. Pull it up on the screen so you guys believe me here. Yeah, it's just crazy how these are all kind of coming in late or whatever, but I'll pull it up here as I'm shuffling through all these screens. Bear with me. I promise I know what I'm doing my job. Daniel Gibbs, who I think donated earlier, comes in with even more money. Does it feel like Norvell and the staff are building a recruiting juggernaut, or is it just me? Tons of players are liking what they see already.
I think they're building a foundation. I don't think a juggernaut. Juggernaut's when you start pulling 5 stars. So I think what they're doing is they're building a really good foundation to go into that 2022 year. And I think that's going to be a big year. I definitely think if they show the product on the field, FSU definitely has a chance for a top 5, top 10 class without question next year. But I think what they're doing is building the foundation off a bridge class from 2021, because the bottom line is, as I've said before, you can't sell your product until the recruits can see it for themselves. So once that's seen, it's going to take off, I think, with FSU. But they've got the right guys. They have 4, I think, former SEC coaches. These guys can recruit. They're very good relationships. We've already seen that already with some of the pickups that they've gotten. So once you start transferring that relationships to product on the field, people are going to see the results that they're kind of looking for. And I would say just let these guys coach. They do the job. Your recruiting results I think people are going to be very pleased with what they see.
Yeah, see, all these things are like coming in like, people post these questions earlier. I mean, you mentioned it. Can you maybe summarize it for Evan? Evan donated I hate saying donate because like this isn't like we're not giving this to like, people that are losing their, I don't know, just we're having fun here, and you guys hopefully are having fun and you're all enjoying it. And that's what this is all about. Being born and bred in the 850 Pensacola, any update on the recent visits to campus? I know you talked about at the beginning, but we've been going for over an hour. Maybe catch some folks up on the trio that was in town.
Yeah, Evan, I put a post on Warchant. It's an update on there. If you go on the message board, it's right there. I think it's on the front page as well. Mainly 4 guys, I would say. Obviously, offensive lineman Kimo McAnally visited. Really connected with just the campus. He really loved everything. His parents were there with him. They loved it, I've heard. He was also there, and along with offensive lineman Austin Firestone. Talk about his intriguing story. Kid is razor smart. I mean, the kid is intelligent as attack. He's a guy that I think FSU will eventually offer. His best friend is Kimo, so that certainly helps there. And then defensive back Zare Thomas, 2022 defensive back, 4-star guy. I think FSU is very high on this list. South Carolina, Georgia Tech are the main teams. Probably Georgia Tech is the main threat, but FSU has made a big move as far as what is Zare. I mean, they've done a really good job already there. Very close relationship with Woodson. So, and then wide receiver Eric Smith. I talked some about him at Booker T. Washington. I think really if he gets an offer, he's coming to FSU. 6'5", 85 pounds, 180 or 85 pounds, and he's a guy I think FSU just wants to see in person. I think once they see that, and if he checks all the boxes, I think there's a good chance they could they could probably pull the trigger as far as an offer. But all this is right there on the pre-recruiting board. But you looked out for us, so I'm looking out for you. So there's kind of where things stand with those visitors today.
Man, again, this is some of the stuff's not registering until now, man. I don't know if Derek Adams, Derek with an A, Darrick, which if I had a son, I named him Derek. That's how I would spell it. He donated $24.99 like 4 months ago. It never showed up in the feed. So that gets you one, but actually gets you two. It gets you two of those, Derek. So I don't know. We didn't say his name, and I feel bad. Like he's probably been waiting for like 40 minutes to get a shout out. He gave us $25. That's like an hour's work for a lot of people, man. Appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Let's go on a high note. Good grief, amazing, man. Thanks to Savage. Thanks to James B. Thanks to Dante. Thanks to James B. again. How about our guy Ray Pereira? Ray Pereira, I feel he's got like a streak. He's going to go like DiMaggio in terms of donating money to us on all these shows that we do. It's got lost off the feed, but these are all the folks, as you can see here, that have donated. Ray, Evan McCool, Travante Gooden coming in twice, James, Savage Knoll, Giovanni donating. Like I think even Ed Lamo donated today. I didn't even get to see it. Ronald Shores donated. Today's the 5th. Today's the 5th. Sorry, I'm getting out of Actually, wait, no, that's today. I'm sorry. Listen, yeah, these people gave us all money today. It's amazing. It's crazy. Michael, I can't talk anymore, man. Help me out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away. I don't even know what to say when I saw that first 99 that Ray dropped, and then James out doing it and throwing 100 guys. I mean, I do this because I love it. I mean, I've done this for close to 20 years now because I love it, but you guys are phenomenal. You guys are what make this work. You guys are ones that keep War Chant what it is. I can't thank you guys enough for the kind donations, and you guys have been phenomenal. As far as stuff coming up, we have a defensive end hot board coming up. That part of the position will be coming up. Going to have a little video portion, with Aslan and me. We'll be talking about that. Maybe the linebackers coming up soon. Don't forget about Sunday. Top point guard Jalen Wiley is going to decide at 1 o'clock. So that's going to be something you definitely want to keep focus on. And we're just going to keep cranking out these prospect updates. You guys just make me want to work harder. I mean, I'm working as hard as I can, but you guys really make me want to work even harder than what I am. And I don't know if that's possible, but I'm damn sure going to try it for you. And unreal, guys. Unreal chat. Great job. But that's some of the things that are coming up on War Chant for you guys.
And Derek, I'm sorry if you're out there, man. We appreciate you again, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's incredible, man. We love what we do for a living, man, and glad you guys enjoy it. And it's can't say it enough. Just thanks so much for watching and helping us out. Michael, let's do this maybe next week.
You got it.